What up YouTube, it's your boy Anime Specialist. So this episode was pretty good. It was better than I expected. My bad if this review is rushed. I have school today. I don't usually have school on Tuesdays, but I'm gonna do the best that I can. There's a lot of things that happen and there's a lot of things that I want to talk about, especially about the Black Bulls and how the other Magic Knights see the Black Bulls. So in this episode, there's three things that we really need to talk about. In my opinion, the first thing, like I said, is the Black Bulls. So far in this tournament, we've seen three members of the Black Bulls fight. We saw Asta in last week's episode. We saw Magna and Finwell in this week's episode. So the reason why I want to talk about the Black Bulls is that the general opinion about the Black Bulls, at least at the start of the episode, is still the same, even though they finished second in the overall standing of the Magic Knights teams. The other Magic Knights in the tournament really don't think a lot of the Black Bulls, till the end, where they kind of changed their opinions about them. So yeah, I thought the opinion of the other Magic Knights team would have already changed since the Star Festival, but it seems like it was in this episode that they realized how legit the Black Bulls are, and this is only three members of the Black Bulls. They haven't seen how strong Noelle has become. They haven't seen Vanessa and her new spell, how strong she is. So, and I don't think they know how strong Yami is. So, I really like the progression of opinion about the Black Bulls in this series so far. The second thing that we need to talk about in this episode is Mimosa's brother. I just want to say how funny her face is in this screenshot right there. That's probably the most mad we've seen her in the series. Even though she doesn't really shows it, she's always smiling and everything. We can see the little details that shows that she's mad. She's really mad about her brother. She doesn't like her brother, and that's really funny for me. And Mimosa's character has developed a lot since the beginning of the series, so I've said it in last week's episode. I really like her character right now, and I hope that we see her more in the series. But anyway, like I said, Mimosa's brother, I think his name is Critch Vermilion or something like that. He's pretty smart, man. I didn't really think he would be like that. Obviously, he's the vice captain of his team. I don't remember how they're called, but he's the vice captain, so he should be at least strong. And he showed us in this episode that he's not only strong, he's also pretty smart. He gave some tips to Magna and Giant Girl in this episode on how they can use their magic differently, and I think it was a cool thing to see, so we know that he's legit. He's not just a guy that think that he's beautiful. Obviously that's the annoying side about him, but the other side about him is that he's really smart and that he can fight. Low-key, he was the leader of that team, so that was kind of funny. Just seeing the reaction of Mimosa and everything, the reaction of everybody, it was a really funny, especially Mimosa. But yeah, man, he is an interesting character, and I hope that we'll see more of him in not next week's episode, but in the future of this arc. We saw him use a huge magic spell. It's called the Cherry Blossom Magic, Mary Cherry Blossom Storm Petals. So that was a huge magic. This was probably the biggest magic we've seen in this episode. So yeah, man, obviously he's a noble, so he's really strong. He has a lot of magic power. So they showed us a sneak peek of his power right there in this episode. So yeah, man, it was cool to see. It was cool to see how strong and how intelligent he is in this episode. But man, I really want to talk about Finwell's little brother Langris. Obviously we saw Finwell fight before that. We saw him use his teleportation magic against the other team. He's on the same team as Leopold, so he used his magic pretty good. He's evolved a lot since the beginning of the series, and everyone saw that. They saw that his magic will be pretty hard to go against, so that was cool. But after that, man, Langris is something else. At this young age, he's the vice captain of the Golden Dawn, and he just destroyed the other team with one attack. He destroyed their crystal really easily. So his magic, I don't really know how it works exactly. I know it works with space and time or something like that. It's kind of a stronger magic than the teleportation magic that Finwell has. So I'm hyped to see way more of Langris in this tournament. In the opening, we saw him fight against Asta at the end of the opening, so this will be interesting. But yeah, man, I'm really happy to see more of Langris and how powerful he is, because he's the vice captain of the Golden Dawn. That he's not the vice captain for nothing. So I'm hyped about that. When the tournament started, there was some matchup that I was really looking forward to. The first matchup was Noelle versus her younger brother. The other one was Asta versus Yuno, and the last one was Finwell versus Langris. Not because Finwell is that powerful, just because of the meaning of this fight, because they're family, because they're brothers, and because how Finwell was kind of rejected from his family because he wasn't as strong as they wanted. So this matchup is gonna be insane. I just want to see how Finwall is gonna keep up with Langris, because he's really powerful. He's the vice captain. Finwall is kind of a supporting character. He doesn't have attack magic. He just has support magic to help other members of his team to attack. So this is gonna be interesting. Plus, at the end of the episode, we saw Langris talk with Finwall about somebody. I don't know who she is. Maybe she's Finwall's lover or something like that. Maybe before he was rejected from his family, maybe he was supposed to marry her, and now Langris is the one that's gonna marry her or something like that. I don't really know, but they talked about when they're going to fight and everything. Obviously, I think Langris is gonna win because he's just that powerful and everything. But it's gonna be interesting, man. Especially how they're setting it up. It's gonna be a really good fight, I think. But yeah, man, let me know what you thought about this week's episode in the comments down below. I thought it was really good, especially the end with Finwall and Langris. And let me know how you think the Black Bull's image has changed since episode 1 of the Black Clover anime, because they've evolved a lot, especially the characters that develop a lot. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, man, I do Black Clover reviews every Tuesday, so subscribe for that. And I do other anime related things like what it's called, my bad, the Promised Neverland reviews on Thursdays, Sword Art Online, One Piece, and Fairy Tail reviews on Saturdays. And I'm waiting for the Boruto anime to catch up to the manga. It's gonna be a while, but when it catches up, I'm gonna review it on Sunday, so stay tuned for that. My bad, like I said, my bad if it's rushed. I have school, and I don't usually have school on Tuesdays, so my bad for that. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Anime Specialist out. Peace.